Hello everybody and welcome into the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series live from the Lady in Black. That's right, it's Darlington Raceway and we got a throwback one for you here tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers just getting qualifying wrapped up and getting ready to get this thing rolling here tonight. So before we get into your race info, let's get right into your starting grid. Justin Parham will take the pole for Grandstand Racing as he puts down a 28.6. His teammate Kenneth Rediger will roll off on his outside on the outside pole in second. Jake Bustos in the 74 back in third. Mark Beverly in fourth. Wesley Phillips going to start off from that fifth position. David Traylor in sixth. Matthew Fritz seventh with Justin Bentley back in eighth. Keith Prince in ninth and Clay Cantrell rounding out your top 10. Riley Gomes will start back in the 11th position. It's going to be Clinton Woodby on his outside in 12th. Row number 7, Haas Beverly and Joey Hickox with Chase Greer and Zach Stevens in row number 8. Ryan Gomes will roll off 17th, Jay Stinson in 18th, Derek Catt 19th, and Nick Wood rounding out your top 20. Randy Bonomi starts 21st, Sam Boutwell in 22nd, Brody Benty 23rd, Aiden Lunn in 24th, Wiley Cantrell 25th, and J.R. Schauber rounding out the field tonight. He will start in 26th. All right, looking at your race info tonight. Again, talked about it. It's a throwback race. That's what everything about tonight is pretty much going to lead into. It is the Blue Ridge Throwback 200 official distance here, 130 laps, 75% fuel. Everybody does have 6 tire sets in total. That includes the one that's on these trucks to start the race. One faster pair of fixed setups as always. Stage break will be at the end of lap 30. Stage 2 will be at the end of lap 65. We've got 3 green-white checkers if we need them. Darlington Raceway, 1.3 miles in length, 72 degrees. Starting track temp, weather outside matches that, 72, 10% humidity, clear skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. It's a tricky track, one of the trickiest ones for a reason. You notice there just by the track map, doesn't look even like a lot of the tracks we head to, at least for the mile-and-a-half category. A little bit shorter, but still very fast and going to be a very interesting, fun race to watch here tonight. Got a couple things to talk about, but that'll have to wait because here we go into the Geico restart zone. Green flag in the air. We are racing at Darlington. Trouble out back early as lap 1 will be complete. It goes to Justin Parham. That was Brody Benty who had the big slide, and now it is congestion here towards the middle portions of the pack as everybody is trying to get it sorted out before we get through 1 and 2. Not going to work out. Still a little 3 wide, back to 2x2 finally. That's a good thing. 3 wide here, not something that works, at least not something that works out too well. But again, everybody seemed like they were able to finally get it sorted out. And now quickly all starting to single file out. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise there, but we're going to mention it now. We'll mention it a couple times through the broadcast, but again, special things tonight with the Throwback Weekend, one of those being, of course, a paint scheme competition. So a lot of guys in the field, some of them did post pictures earlier for the paint scheme contest, running special throwback schemes. We're going to try to showcase as many as we can here throughout the night, hopefully all of them, of course, and whichever scheme you like the best, said driver, go ahead and put either the number of that truck or the name of the driver if you know it in the live chat. And that will count as your vote towards that driver's paint scheme. And we will announce the winner here hopefully by the end of the night. But even if it doesn't get announced, there will still be a winner announced. I believe there might even be a little bit of a prize on the line. Not 100% sure on that, as now caution is out for the first time here tonight. Looking for where the trouble is. J.R. Schauber, who is in the pits. He had trouble just before the yellow flag came out. Not sure if this caution was in regards to him or somebody else. He said we did see him on the pits, so certainly got to suspect that that was the case as he is now left. I'm really not sure what caused this one, so we're going to just go ahead and, oh, well, there it is. J.R. Schauber. This is going to be coming off of turn 4. I think the truck's just going to get a little loose on him. And watch as he gets into 3. Ooh, he's kind of straddling that apron. It's a no-go here and just loops around. Boom. That's a pretty hard shot into the inside safer barrier. You see it splits kind of right where that left front fender would be and a little bit of the hood region. That's why he towed it immediately, because it seems like it had totaled that truck. Now, we'll go to the cockpit view again. Darlington, very interesting for many aspects. One of those being, of course, that you can ride below that white line here that's kind of referred to as the apron when you do go below it, but you can make that line work. You got to be careful, and you see when Schomburg tried to start to wash back up to get back above the apron, just straddled that transition, if you will, a little too long, and it doesn't take much. And boy, that truck just snapped right around on him. Nothing he could do once he started to get loose. Just trying to save it from here. Lucky that he didn't collect anyone else, but man, you see the back two tires off the ground and the left front fender falling off, just signifying again how much damage he really got from that wreck. The view from the tower stand. I want to take one more look at this again here from TV1. Actually, we'll go to the gearbox here for, I believe, who was just in front of him at the time, which there was a lot of guys that were in the vicinity, like I said. Very surprising that nobody gets involved, but Justin Bentley, he's going to see this, and actually I think just behind Justin Bentley, the 88 of Clay Cantrell gets the best view of this from the gearbox cam. And you're going to see the two pop in a frame here. There's the big shot for J.R. Schomburg. And so brings out, again, your first caution here of the night. And we're, I'm not going to say we're expecting a lot, because of course you're not, but you are expecting maybe a little bit more than usual at a track like Darlington, as tricky as things are to control here. And no surprise to see somebody with a little bit of troubles early. Guys still getting some of the kinks worked out. But back up front, Justin Parham, currently being scored as your leader, took the pole and has led every lap since that point. Kenneth Redinger back in second, Mark Beverly third, Wesley Phillips in fourth with Jake Bustos in fifth, Matthew Fritz in sixth, David Traylor seventh, Clinton Woodby eighth, Riley Gomes in ninth, and Keith Prince rounding out your top 10. All right, well, while we have the chance here, got the one to go, we'll make our first stop at a couple of these throwback schemes here tonight. In row one, it's a perfect example of two of them on the outside. How about Justin Parham? And I'm going to apologize now. I might get some of these wrong. Some of them I'm not 100% sure who the driver is, but the mellow yellow scheme there for Justin Parham, you got to wonder if that's a throwback to the Cole Trickle Days of Thunder scheme. Nonetheless, it's a good-looking scheme at that for Justin Parham. But again, that's the first throwback we see here tonight. He's got the mellow yellow Chevy Silverado, and on his inside, his teammate Kenneth Redinger, a throwback with a 24 paint scheme. It's one of the older, I'm assuming, Jeff Gordon schemes. Good looking scheme there for Kenneth Redinger as well. Row number two, Wesley Phillips in his normal paint scheme. However, Mark Beverly, he's got the John Deere paint scheme throwback. So the 97, another great looking scheme on that truck. You already see a couple more if we go a row back. Behind that, Matthew Fritz with a throwback to, I believe it was, I think it was still Eric Jones at the time in the 43. It might have been either him or Bubba Wallace with the Armor All throwback paint scheme. Good looking truck from Matthew Fritz. We'll get to some more here as the race continues to go on, but if you liked one of those paint schemes enough to want to vote for it, go ahead and drop it in the chat now. Green flag back in the air. It's another great jump, this time for Justin Parham. The 19 kicks out to an early lead by the time they get to turn one, and that's really what you got to do here. Again, side by side, it's doable. I mean, of course, you got to do it to make passes, but it's just not able to be sustained for very long. 3 wide, not even in the question. Not something you're going to see tonight. Oh, Chase Greer gets turned hard into the inside wall. Goes the 8. Caution back out as he comes to a sliding stop. You see the tire tracks there. Did he maybe miss it? No, he does have some front end damage, so he didn't quite miss it. But it doesn't look like it's going to be race ending. May even be able to not have to use the fast repair on it. And that's those restarts. This really is no man's land coming out of turn 2. Everybody just fighting and scrambling for position. And it's already a turn that you have the tendency to get a little bit loose off of. The wall comes up in a hurry, and just so many things that can go wrong. And one of them did here for Chase Greer. That's Haas Beverly on the inside. By the way, 2 more throwbacks here. Not the way that they wanted to be showcased. You see the Ryan Newman throwback here for Chase Greer. On the inside, Haas Beverly running a throwback of his own. But here you go. This is going to be coming off of 2 here. I think Haas just gets tight. Now, granted, Chase Greer, did he get in the wall? Oh, he does. And I know that view doesn't do it justice, so we'll get it a little bit of a different angle here. And in fact, let's go back to the rear chase here and watch. This is, again, coming off of turn 2. Chase Greer, he's tight, and yeah, he just bounces off that outside wall, comes down into Haas Beverly. Now, granted, all things considered, this was going to be really tight anyway. Coming off turn 2, I mean, you can see how close these two are going to be running, but I don't think Haas necessarily hits him here. No, he won't. If Chase is able to keep it off the wall, I don't think he will, but the point is, once Chase does hit that outside wall, it bounces him off down into the 22. Haas Beverly's trying to check up to get off of him, and then There you see the hit for Chase Greer, locked it down pretty quick, trying to minimize the damage, but still nowhere to run from that inside safer barrier here at Darlington. So back this up for you here. I want to give you an onboard view. First here with, I think we're going to go actually up to Haas Beverly for this one. You see it there just getting tight, and yeah, Haas certainly was able to keep his truck controlled on the low side, so I don't think there would have been contact if he could have kept it together. As Nancy Hickok says, mellow yellow was Kyle Petty. That was my daughter's favorite driver years ago, many years ago, and that is right. Actually, I was just watching a YouTube video before this. I completely forgot about that. Some of the greatest NASCAR fights of all times. One of the ones they were showing was Kyle Petty, and I forgot who it was, but he did have a mellow yellow fire suit on. Forgot about that for just a moment. Nonetheless, though, getting back to the wreck on track. Showing you a couple more angles of it. Boom, there's the contact. Again, slight contact. Just doesn't take much. And these trucks, and there's the not so slight contact, the big hit. Of course, spins back on track, and then, ooh, didn't see that, but Haas Beverly got a little bit of a love tap right there from the 33 as they got into the corner. I just think that was everybody trying to get checked up. That was Zach Stevens, of course, for the caution. And if you want more view of this here for Chase Greer from TV3, or actually we're going to go back to TV1 here. Comes to a rolling stop, and again, he'll go in and get some repairs worked on, as it looks like he's already got whatever he needs to get fixed. And number 8 car back out on track again. That is a Ryan Newman throwback scheme for Chase Greer. Like what you see, feel free to vote for him. Back up front, pace car getting ready to pull off. Field in the hands of Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger. Wesley Phillips, Mark Beverly, row 2. Matthew Fritsch, Jake Bustos in row number 3. Gonna try this again for the second time tonight. Only 11 laps complete. This will put us with exactly 19 to go in the stage. Green flag back in the air at Darlington. Good restart for the 19 again. Even his teammate Kenneth Redinger has just not been able to match him up to this point. Wonder if there's maybe a little bit of coordination there with, again, the fact that the quicker you get single filed out, the better in terms of making time. And right now, I think Redinger feels like no need to get too racy. And a 97, Mark Beverly, hold on to it. Nicely done. Beverly holds on after a big moment there through 1 and 2. It looked like similar case to what we just saw with the last caution there, but this time it was Wesley Phillips who just got loose off of 2, got down the track and into the 97. But again, Mark Beverly with a fantastic save as he was able to hold on. And so going back, and by the way, for anybody that was maybe tuning in last time, I think I got it mixed up. And now I know Jay Stinson, of course, over in the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series did do, it looked like a number change based off, we saw him over in the 98 last night. But Mark Beverly was in the 13. He is the 13 in the Asphalt Outlaw Racing Truck Series. It's the NOMA Truck Series where he's the number 97. So I can apologize for getting that mixed up for anybody that was watching. But as we got that sorted out, still got a lot of things on track that these guys are trying to get sorted out. Wesley Phillips is heating up the back bumper of Kenneth Redinger now. He actually is going to look for a crossover here off of 2. Not able to get alongside just yet, but he's going to dive it in. Redinger working the momentum up top. Wesley Phillips short away around on the bottom. And that's another one of the beauties here of Darlington, is there is multiple grooves of racing that we see. And so far it seems like, well, I say multiple grooves. I should say through 3 and 4 there's multiple grooves. 1 and 2, not so much. This is not the turn that you want to try to set up a pass in. You can set up a pass either off the turn or on entry, but any point during the corner, not so much. Kind of a one-line diamond groove, but over here in 3 and 4, things are a little bit different. You can run the bottom, the middle, or the top, and any sort of combination using all 3 of those lines. As you see, as they rocket off of 4, the speeds down the front stretch going to get up to just over 170 miles an hour. Runs again kind of that diamond approach, if you will, down into turn 1, all the way up by that wall. You're going to see a couple drivers getting a Darlington stripe or a little kiss to that wall throughout this race. And you arc it back down off of 2. There's a little bump there. Things get sketchy. Back into 3 and 4, which runs a lot more similar to some of the tracks that we've been to in terms of how you're able to run that turn 1 and 2. Not the case at all. 17 laps already complete here at Darlington. Again, laps going to fly by, especially through stage 1 and 2, as we've already had a caution in stage 1 and make it 2. So everybody fighting for position, not only to get some stage points, but set yourself up, of course, for the end, or excuse me, for the next stage. Get that track position. Meanwhile, these two continuing to go at it. Wesley Phillips, he really wants this position from Redinger, and at least for now, looks to me like that 46 is a little bit faster, but being faster than a guy and getting around him, two very, very different things, and Wesley Phillips struggling with the second one of those right now. Washes up the track a little bit through 1 and 2 just behind him there. That's the 29 of Matthew Fritz. Talked about the throwback paint scheme that he's running here tonight, and still has the Manny Rays sponsor on the hood, but again, talked about that it was supposed to be not a throwback to too long ago, more focused on a throwback to, I believe it was, not sure at the time if it was still Eric Jones or if Bubba Wallace was in the car, but that number 43 car from the Gen 7 era, the Gen 6 era, yeah, it was indeed Eric Jones with the Armor All paint scheme. So good looking truck for Matthew Fritz. I like the bright orange mixed with the white and black. I think it glows pretty good on a track like Darlington. I know we made a stop at Mark Beverly, and we'll have to hold the stops there for now because caution is back out. Trouble here further back. Multiple trucks. The 13 of Derek Catt comes to a sliding stop himself there just before making contact. We got a bumper piece that fell off of somebody. Not sure whose that is. Ryan Gomes with some damage. He will pull it down to the inside here. I'm thinking he's going to maybe go in for repairs, see if he's able to stay out and not lose a lap, or if he's going to go in this lap and accept the end of the line penalty. And so as the 55 goes to get it sorted out, the rest of the field going to group up with the pace car. Let's see what brought out this one here. Again, things have been a little sketchy here early. A couple cautions to get things started. And a lot of caution laps here through stage 1, but it's just the nature of the beast as everybody continues to try to get comfortable with the lady in black here tonight, and it's just not been working out so well yet. All right, here we go. Going to go to the chopper view first. Watch Joey Hickox. They go 3 wide here down the front stretch. Talked about that's not a good thing to do. They're quickly back to 2, and they're going to enter turn number 1 here. 2 wide. Haas Beverly on the inside. Joey Hickox on the outside. And boy, Joey's a little bit off the groove. That's not what causes the issue, though. He just gets honestly run into here from out back between Sam Boutwell and Ryan Gomes. And does Gomes just smoke it in a little too hot here? I think he does. Maybe trying to get to the inside here, the 47. I'm not sure, but that's just 2 guys, 3 guys, I guess I should say, all going for some real estate that didn't have room for 3 of them. Probably not even 2 of them, much less 3, but looked like the 55 kind of started the chain reaction as he got into the 47, which got the 47 into the 3 of Joey Hickox. Now, Joey saved it, but up here is where we had majority of the contact, if you will. Well, I said Joey saved it. Looks like, yeah, he certainly did drive out of that slide, but then big hits were back here for Nick Wood and multiple others, Ryan Gomes included. All right, back this up one more time and show you what some of those hits kind of look like in a bit of a different angle on how this started. And so we're going to go to the blimp view first. And there's the 3 wide action. There was some contact down the straight there as well. Zach Stevens just got clear of all this chaos. And then there's the 55. Well, Ryan Gomes may have actually never quite touched Boutwell there. It was really close and certainly putting enough pressure on him that could have caused some issues here. This is the cockpit view. Yeah, he tried to cross him over, go to the inside, and boy, it's really close. Then there was contact for sure after the 47 of Boutwell got into Joey, and then after that, Requisón is trying to lock it down here, and gets tagged again at the end of it. A couple people just had nowhere to go. So, in all fairness, again, to Ryan Gomes, I don't know if he ever necessarily touches Boutwell. It's really, really close. I don't think he does. I think he's in there. He's in there pretty hot, but I think Boutwell is too. And I think with Joey being up top, these guys just weren't quite expecting the stack up, if you will, to be that big. And once the stack up's occurred, there's not much you can do about it as a driver except hold on. And there's the 2 shots to the outside wall. You're going to see the 0-2 Nick Wood tries to duck low. He gets tagged, sends him around. Huge damage to the 0-2. And then the 7 flying in. He had nowhere to go either. He's trying to check up. He got it pretty checked up, but just you saw that the 55 slid right down to the racing groove where he was at. There's the hit again for the 0-2. I think that might have been Clay Cantrell or Brody Benty. Took a pretty big shot. And so as he gets back rolling, so does the 13 and multiple others. We'll give you, I was going to say we'll give you one more look, but looks like we are back green here with 23 laps complete. Justin Parham up front. Kenneth Redinger second. There's another great restart for Parham, and he quickly is away with the lead as looks like Redinger is going to settle into second. Matthew Fritz, Wesley Phillips battling hard for third. Telling you off turn 2 for that first lap. Going to be the sketchiest part of this racetrack. Every single restart we have. Everybody doing a nice job, though, so far. Redinger still looking to see if he can get tucked in line behind his teammate and try to catch up here. Wesley Phillips into third, Matthew Fritz fourth, and Mark Beverly hanging on to fifth. There you see the 74 of Jake Bustos. Looks like he's running a bit of a throwback scheme himself. Not sure if it's a throwback all the way to Richard Petty or potentially still, I think that's got to be the natural assumption, right? Yeah, sure enough it is. And it's got a little story along with it here. So we'll hold up here for just a moment with the 74 of Jake Bustos, as this car was the car that John Andretti actually drove in the 1999 Brickyard 400, and it was a special 50th anniversary paint scheme. He started 10th in the race and finished 2 laps down in 37th, but he made $96,000 in the process. Man, oh man. Good looking scheme there for Jake Bustos. By the way, we're closing in on the end of this stage. See Keith Prince here back in the 8th position as he gets a little bit out of shape off of turn number 4. But it's only 5 laps to go now. Again, stage break going to be at the end of lap 30. Already a couple cautions, so we'll see here. I think Justin Parham's in pretty good shape to hold on for the rest of this stage, at least based off everything that we've seen so far here. And I'm sitting here looking at the stats on the side, and really, all things considered, we have not seen a lot of pit stops from the field. Yeah, there's been a couple guys that have tried some tire strategy, but certainly think with this stage break is when you'll see most of the guys, at least most of the leaders, bring down for their first set of tires here tonight. And you do have 5 sitting in the pits, so it'll be 4 once you've used that first one. And looks like we're going to wrap up the stage here early as caution is back out for trouble between the 66 of Randy Bonomi and the 3 of Joey Hickox. And so, yeah, I don't think they're going to have time to get back going green. And if it were to end under caution in terms of the stage winners when the caution came out, then it would go to Justin Parham in the 19. However, if they have to actually roll until they get to line, then you got to certainly make sure you stay out if you want those stage points. But here we go. Joey Hickox was by himself, so I'm thinking maybe this started further up with Randy Bonomi here. Sure enough, it looks like it does. Oh, he gets turned around by Nick Wood in the 02. As I think this is just kind of a stack up into 3. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what it is. You see the 66 gets to the back bumper of the 7 pretty quick. He's got to put on the brakes, and then the 02 of Nick Wood just not quite able to get on the brakes quick enough. Gets into the back of Randy Bonomi. That sends the 66 for a slide as Nick Wood drives by the 47 of Boutwell as well. But then as Bonomi comes up here, Joey Hickox with no issues was just slow in the process of missing it, but didn't make any actual contact. Here's a bit of another look at it. We'll go back to Randy Bonomi. That's an innocent slide here. Didn't hit anything. And actually, it's a pretty good save at that for Randy Bonomi there. Joey Hickox, again, lucky to not make any contact as the 66 had slid back up. But that's a really nice piece of driving there by Randy Bonomi to not hit anything. It's a tough thing to do here at Darlington, especially when this truck started sliding back up. You see he continues to let it roll in this case. Locks it up, and then once 47 of Boutwell goes by, lets it roll again to get it back straight, back even, and back in the race. Give you one final view of this from the pit lane before we go back up front. There is 66 of Bonomi after he got it straightened back out. So looks like up front now, Brody Benty currently being scored as your leader. I believe this was one of the trucks that decided to try a little bit of strategy, if you will, but as it stands, at least right now, he is your leader. I'm not sure if he'll be declared your stage winner. Not going to be coming to the stage right here, but we will be the next lap. Brody Benty running a throwback paint scheme in of itself. And I think we all have a pretty good idea of exactly who he's throwing it back to, the 63 machine. He's got the Mountain Dew scheme on there, throwing it back to the Dale Earnhardt Jr. days when he used to run, of course, Mountain Dew as one of his primary paint schemes. And just behind him, Clay Cantrell running a similar throwback. Both of those trucks, both with Mountain Dew schemes, a little bit of a different style, but both great looking trucks. And if you like either of those two, again, you can vote for them in the chat. Justin Bentley doesn't look like any sort of special throwback there. Joey Hickox looks like he's got something going on here tonight. Bit of a throwback, potentially. I'm not sure exactly what he'd be throwing it back to. So if you know in the chat, let me know. And even if it's not a throwback, it's a different scheme than what we're used to seeing for Joey Hickox. And it's a good-looking scheme at that. Got the bright neon green, white, and blue colors. Stopped at Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger earlier. Matthew Fritz along with Mark Beverly, Jake Bustos. Keith Prince He's got a throwback on tonight. The 03 throwing it back to the 3. I'm assuming this was one of the Dale Earnhardt paint schemes. And so Keith Prince, he's got a very, very good looking Chevy Silverado here tonight. The 92 of Clinton Woodby running a throwback himself further back. Currently sitting in the field, that is, but in terms of scheme-wise, I think it's up there with the best, and that's a throwback to one of the old Truck Series paint schemes. I'm not sure exactly who it was. David Traylor in the 54. Looks like he's got himself a special scheme here tonight as well. Currently down 7 from where he started. He is back in 13th at the moment. Okay, I'm not sure exactly who that scheme's a throwback to, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the older truck paint schemes. And then behind him is Jay Stinson in the 31. The Spray Easy sponsor on the side. And kind of similar colorway to a degree of what we saw for his Venom Racing teammate Joey Hickox with the bright neon green and the white. And then you got the 33 of Zach Stevens. Good looking scheme for him here tonight. Riley Gomes, nothing different than usual. Chase Greer stopped on him earlier. Sam Boutwell might have a throwback on for himself. Haas Beverly back to 22. Talked about he was running a throwback. Aiden Lund, same paint scheme that he normally runs. Derek Catt, Randy Bonomi are also in their regular paint schemes, as is Nick Wood. The 55 here of Ryan Gomes with the Home Depot. A little bit of throwback paint scheme to potentially Tony Stewart. Good looking scheme for him. And then Jared Schomburg, who retired from the race. Of course, no longer able to be viewed. All right, here we go. Stage 1 is complete. Looks like it's going to be Brody Benty, Clay Cantrell, who are going to lead them back to the restart this time. The end of stage 2, not until the end of lap 65, so going to be kind of close on fuel, but before we get to that, got to get a restart sorted out. Green flag back in the air. Into turn number 1, and the top 4 have already, top 5, 6, 7, 8 make it already single file as Wesley Phillips gets a little physical there with the 74 of Jake Bustos. And off at turn number 2 for the first time. How is everybody looking? Ooh, a couple guys getting out of shape. One in the wall out back, sends one off. That's Nick Wood. Nick Wood able to steer out of what was a truck that was pointed towards the inside wall, get it back, facing the right direction. Up front, it is Brody Benty still leading the way. Mountain Dew paint schemes run 1 and 2, but 2 completely different drivers. Brody Benty, Clay Cantrell. Clay's going to try to heat up this back bumper here because he's getting his back bumper heated up right now by the 16 of Justin Bentley. And so now, there you go. Clay Cantrell is going to look to the inside. It's a good spot to do it here into turn number 3. Brody Benty sending it up on the outside. Ooh, Cantrell's tight here. Brody needs a little bit of room off the turn. Ooh, a little bit of contact down the front straightaway. Here comes Kenneth Redinger now. Justin Bentley and Redinger seeing these two stall out, trying to take advantage. Ooh, Brody Benty broke the cushion, just got in too hot. Was already up the racetrack and just could not make it stick. And there, that'll be his first Darlington stripe of the night as he gets another one there off of turn number 2. So now Justin Bentley is going to try to look to the inside here in 3 and 4 as he sees the 63 starting to struggle. Joey Hickox into the wall out back. Matthew Fritz gets into him as everybody's going to try to steer by. Riley Gomes ducks low. And that was a pretty big hit into the outside wall here for Joey Hickox. He's trying to get it recovered and back going. But that's going to do some pretty significant damage to this 3 truck here. As, maybe not a couple scrapes, but definitely not as bad as it initially looked like. Let's back this up and see if he gets some help here. I got to assume he may have. And if he didn't, as by the way, Jay Stinson and Joey Hickox you see now, looks like, go back a little bit further here, running the same paint scheme, at least not same paint scheme rather, but the same, no, never mind. I was going to say similar colors, but now we got Wrecking Big up front, 2, 3 trucks in it. Stinson, now Gomes gets involved as Mark Beverly spun to the inside. The 03 of Keith Prince as well. I was going to say, you saw Jay Stinson with a similar colorway to Joey Hickox, but Joey with the AG Solar, Jay Stinson with the spray away. And we have a little bit of an update on that from Nancy in the chat, which we'll go over here in just a moment. But now we got to go back and break down this caution here, which we're just getting ready to go back and see what happened to Joey Hickox that got him out of shape when this caution initially came out. So we're going to go back and try to do that again here. And something gets him in the wall here before they even get to the turn, it appears. Is that Mark Beverly in the 97 potentially? Now you see Mark Beverly jumps back up in line, and then he's going to jump back down here, maybe looking for a move to the inside of Joey Hickox, and gets into the left rear, and that sends Joey around. Joey's trying to steer out of it right here. And he almost does, but just runs out of room as he clips the outside wall and then gets knocked by his teammate there, Matthew Fritz. Does steer out of it and ultimately holds on to it. And then this was a separate incident between separate drivers. This actually involved, I'm not sure if it started with the 03 of Keith Prince, but he was certainly one of the guys that we saw involved in it. In fact, we're going to go back and watch this from the kind of the area of where Keith Prince was. And that doesn't start with Keith Prince. It looks like it's going to start with the 97 of Mark Beverly, who from that view was pointed dead right into the outside wall when we got to him here. How did he get that way? 46 Wesley Phillips running on his outside here, and it just, that's so tough to call. I mean, that's just tight racing, right? Wesley Phillips, you see him starting to turn down, but he's got to. He doesn't have much of a choice at this point, because if he doesn't, he's going to potentially get tight and go into the outside wall. Now, at the same time, the 97 of Mark Beverly slowly but surely starting to slide up the racetrack. And as those two kind of meet in the middle with the same piece of real estate, there's the contact that gets the 97 hooked into the outside safer barrier. And then, ouch, gets rear-ended by the 03 Keith Prince, and then 31 of Stinson tried to miss it. He gets some contact, as do Matthew Fritz. And a plethora of other drivers. Look like the 9 of Riley Gomes, again, got spun. We saw at the end of that, but I want to go, let's see if we can go to a rear chase view here. As it's getting ready to say, I don't think there was actually contact between these two. I think there was a slight bit of net code, and that's exactly what it was. I don't think Wesley Phillips was going to quite hit the 97 there of Mark Beverly, but once there was that slight bit of net code, there was just nothing that either driver could do. They got hooked together and couldn't get unattached after that. Play this one full speed for you here. That is Keith Prince, who rear-ended the back of Beverly there, just nowhere to go. And then tags Riley Gomes right at the end. I don't think Gomes gets any damage, really, except maybe a little bit of a dent, if you will, there on the right rear when he got turned. But that should be about it. Now let's go to the onboard view here for Mark Beverly, as this is one of those ones as a driver that you really don't see coming and kind of blindsides you a little bit. Couple more angles of this one here before we go back live. There's Jay Stinson trying to sneak through it, but got turned around. And then there's the big hit on the inside wall for Keith Prince. Didn't notice that shot initially, but that would be where the one truck got all his damage at. As we watch from TV1 one more time, watch the 03 gets a pretty good amount of damage there. And then as he tries to steer out of this, just gets behind on the steering. Man, it's a hard shot for Keith Prince. And puts us what is now your 5th caution of the night, under what is now our 5th caution of the night. And so 39 of 130, going to be 40 when we cross the line this time. Laps complete here in the Blue Ridge Throwback 200 at Darlington. And I know we've already reviewed everybody's paint scheme, and taking a look at the chat here. Again, appreciate anybody that's tuning in here tonight. Hope you're having a good Saturday night. Manny Rays, good to see you tuning in. As Nancy says in the chat, I like the green and white color, which made it easy for me to find on the track. I struggle seeing the darker colors. Conrail 19900 says, best paint going to the number 97. Mitchell Stevens says, number 33, Ken Schrader is my favorite. Nancy Hickok says, the AG Solar Solutions was his original sponsor when he began racing. They sold solar panels based out of Jessup, Georgia. So there you go, cool little story on the background paint scheme, if you will, for Joey Hickox. So the bright colors with a lot of meaning here tonight, as much meaning as the sponsor on it itself. And then Daniel Graham says the 03 Keith Prince, best paint scheme, at least for his vote. So let's see, based off so far, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, I think at least 5 Keith Prince votes. So I believe he's leading, but again, we don't have an official word yet. We'll get some of this stuff counted up before it's all said and done. But right now, it looks like Keith Prince does have the most votes. As we go back to racing, green flag in the air. It is going to be still quite a few laps to go. Make it just about 90. Actually is 90 as we cross the stripe that time. Down into turn 1. Ooh, Justin Parham got up into the outside wall right there. Now he is fading fast. Got to get it together here off of turn number 2. Is a lot of guys with trouble. Do they all hold on to it? They do. 2, 3 wide further back, 1 in the wall. They all save it. They're 2 wide. This was just a really brutal restart back here. I'm not sure what happened, but this has gotten the field separated in a big way here. See, that front group has already pulled out to about a quarter of a track length ahead of everybody else. That's bad news for guys like Wesley Phillips and others who know they have a decent truck but are stuck back in this second pack, as lap traffic by no means is an easy thing to get around here. And, you know, still plenty of laps to do it, but we know we have a stage break coming up at lap 65. And so if you can get as many positions as you can now, take a set of tires at the stage, and then set yourself up to save some tire and prepare for a long run for that final stage. Another look at what weather has been here tonight, or at least what it is currently. Sim time 2100. And so as it stands right now, at least in terms of the sim, oh man, that was a close one. Almost an incident right there. I was going to say, in terms of the sim right now, though, you see track temp 73 degrees, cool outside, and the lights coming on. So 72 degrees is the ambient temperature. And I say all that strictly for the purpose of that is part of the reason we are seeing the phenomenal racing that we've had so far tonight. It's because of that cooler track temp. Provided a lot of great racing up to this point. Provide a lot more before this thing's all said and done. Going back to David Traylor in the 54. Boy, did he come close just last night in the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series at Texas, but things just did not quite work out. Came up a little bit short. You know, as a result, he is one of the guys that's looking for a little bit of redemption here with a good run tonight. And so far, he is down 2 positions in total from where he started, but he is running inside the top 10. So far, so good. Back up front, Kenneth Redinger. This is kind of the first stretch, if you will, of laps being led here tonight. And so, with that, he's already got it up to almost 7/10 of a second. Point being, he's figured something out. Not sure how Parham fared in terms of falling back as far as he did and how that truck's going to fare in traffic. First time to really see what the 19's made of here when he's not out in front. You know how important clean air is. And what about Clinton Woodby? How much speed is he going to have here tonight? You wondered how the momentum was going to carry, at least over the course of the next few weeks since he got that win at Michigan. And it looks like tonight it's carrying pretty well. Kevin Winker, of course, got the job done at the Brickyard. And then last week at Talladega was Kenneth Redinger. But Clinton Woodby, similar to the streak that Redinger's on right now, he's got a lot of momentum coming off that win just 2 weeks ago. And if he could capture another one here tonight, I think he'd be feeling really good about his chances of not only going deep into the playoff run, but potentially fighting for a championship before this thing is all said and done. Ooh, caution's out. Trouble further out back potentially here. Not sure who this one involves. Maybe the O2 of Nick Wood. Looks like it's a little slow on the apron there, but he gets it back going. .48 of 130 laps now complete. And so, ooh, this is sure enough going to be with Nick Wood here and the 8 of Chase Greer. And it all starts on the entry to turn number 1 here for Nick Wood. And this looks like it kind of snowballs from there. Watch on the onboard view first, as he's on the high lane. Again, not the preferred place to be in. He just misses entry there big time. Doesn't get the wheel turned until it's already too late. Once he does, the truck just not enough time. Uses up way too much racetrack, gets into the outside wall, and when he bounced off the outside wall, that's how Chase Greer is going to get involved in this one here. As lucky that Keith Prince didn't get tagged in the rear bumper here. That could have caused a lot of problems for him, but O2, yeah, just sailing it in there too hard, especially when you're on the top lane. And once he gets into the wall, gets down the track, gets into the 8 of Chase Greer. That sends Chase down below the apron. I think he saves it. He does, but then the O2 goes for a slide as Wesley Phillips runs in with nowhere to go. There's the hit. Ooh, that was a pretty hard hit, too, for Wesley Phillips. Gotta wonder if that'll be a fast pair for either one of, if not both of these guys. Nick Wood, the damage maybe not quite as bad as I initially figured it would be, but Wesley Phillips, we saw missing a fender there. And anytime you start losing body pieces on these trucks, it's going to affect you in a pretty big way. And Wesley Phillips, absolutely nowhere to go. As the O2 went up top, 46 already committed to the top to try to miss it, and just couldn't quite get it slowed up in time at that point. Go to TV3 here. I'm going to get one more look at this here again from TV1, playing in slow motion though for you. There's that big hit for Nick Wood, and then Wesley Phillips talked about running in to the back of the O2 with nowhere to go. All right, so not much to that one. 2 trucks in total. And as we go back up front, Kenneth Redinger still being scored as your leader. Of course, led that entire run right there. But Clinton Woodby, the storyline here is he is back up to 2nd. Justin Parham in 3rd. Jake Bustos 4th. David Traylor in 5th. Matthew Fritz in 6th. Zach Stevens 7th. Toss Beverly in 8th. Ryan Gomes 9th. And Aiden Lunn rounding out your top 10. Raymond says voting for the 29 truck. It's a good vote. And I'll tell you what, Raymond, I'm not a mind reader, but I had a pretty good guess. That's the man that you were going to vote for, and it's a good vote, too. Matthew Fritz with a beautiful looking orange, black, and white. Manny Rays sponsored throwback paint scheme to an I was going to say Under Armour. I meant to say Armor All paint scheme back that Eric Jones ran just before the next gen cars came out. Good looking paint scheme at that. Nancy Hickox earlier says, Raymond, I was thinking the same thing when Austin was showing us the wrecks that Joey might as well hit the pace car. He's hit everything else. The kids drove me crazy with that movie. There you go. All right, well, the lights are off. Pace car is going to make the left turn down to the pits. We're getting ready to get back to green flag racing. Now with 50 laps complete, it'll put us at 15 laps to go in stage number 2 as we cross the line. Green flag back in the air. It's another phenomenal jump for Kenneth Redinger. And he is able to get clear of Clinton Woodby before they get down to turn number 1. He will pull high as, Woodby, a little bit of a mistake. He gets into the wall. That's going to cost him a couple positions now. Rolling through and now off of turn number 2. The 92 back in the outside wall, further back. More guys into the outside wall. More. Now we got Clay Cantrell hard into the inside wall. Keith Prince into the outside wall. Caution's back out. Bonomi slides in. Cantrell comes to a halt further back. See smoke out of the hood of that truck. That tells me he is destroyed. All right, let's see what causes this one. There was kind of 2 separate wrecks that made up one wreck for this one, and it starts with the 88 of Clay Cantrell right here. This is coming off of turn number 2. And so you see a lot of guys getting into the wall. Big stack up gets created here, and then Clay checks up for it. Problem is Riley Gomes, who was riding pretty close, not quite able to check up for it. And he gets in the back of Clay Cantrell, sends him huge hit into that inside safer barrier. But that wasn't the only wreck. We saw Keith Prince. He got turned around into the outside wall up here. See how this part happens. So the initial wreck happens behind. I mean, this is going to bring out a caution pretty much anyway at this point, as he gets turned around. But then it was Justin Bentley who you saw get into the outside wall, and as he gets back down, I'm not sure if there was contact for this one or if it was a little bit of net code here. You see Bentley tags the outside wall, kind of gets hooked into it. See the wheel turn it off, and he's trying to turn the truck back to the right, and it's just not going. It goes to the left, but he never touches Keith Prince. Keeps it well off of him, but there was indeed a little bit of net code right there. And that's what gets Prince turned around into the outside wall as everybody scrambles to miss him. Randy Bonomi there runs into it. He had nowhere to go either. Another look at the Keith Prince portion of the wreck. Has some hard contact for a couple of different guys. The 7, though, was able to sneak by. Nicely done there by Wiley Cantrell. And we'll go now back to the Clay Cantrell portion of this incident. Show you what this one looked like here from a couple of different angles. So there's the turnaround, and man, that's a huge shot. Rips the entire front end off of his Mountain Dew number 88 Chevy Silverado. There's where he comes to a grinding halt after he had nowhere to go, and this was the TV3 view of it here. Starts with Keith Prince. There's the hit for the 88. And actually, I'm going to go back that up a little bit so we can actually show the contact. So around goes the 88 of Clay Cantrell. Takes a big hit, and then almost synchronized at the same time, Keith Prince hits the outside wall. Randy Bonomi, who was already in kind of a half slide, just slides in with nowhere to go, but I don't think that really did any extra damage in of itself. Now as we go back live, pace car still with the lights on, so we should hopefully get the one to go signal next time, but it is Kenneth Redinger being scored as your leader, Justin Parham in 2nd, Jake Bustos 3rd, David Traylor back in 4th, Clinton Woodby 5th, Matthew Fritz in 6th, Zach Stevens 7th, Haas Beverly in 8th, Ryan Gomes 9th, and Aiden Lunn rounding out your top 10. Well, we've got a lot of guys at the front that have been fast here most of the night. We're going to see if we can get a quick interview, though, here, potentially with one of these two. But I want to see who we had as official winner for Stage 1, so give me just a moment. We'll be right back. All right, so it sounds like after talking with race control that it was officially Justin Parham got the stage 1 win. Normally we interview your stage winner, didn't get the chance, so let's get him now. Hey Justin, this is all stuff in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you got the stage 1 win 2 weeks in a row now that we've seen that, and looks like the truck's pretty fast, especially in clean air here tonight. But now that you're sitting here in second behind your teammate, how do you kind of change the strategy to get back by and get back where you were?
For now, I'm just gonna ride. I'd like for us to get a 1-2 finish. Don't want to do nothing to jeopardize that. And we'll see what I can do later in the race to, possibly jump around him and race with him.
Well, Darlington, a big track to get a win at and a very difficult track, but on top of that, throwback weekend, you got a special scheme on there tonight. What made you go with the Kyle Petty throwback?
I've just always liked this scheme right here with the black, red, and green and yellow. I just like the way that color scheme all comes together.
Well, it looks good now. Would look even better if you can get it into victory lane here tonight. We appreciate you talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Could be talking to him here again pretty shortly. Well, guess depending. Point being is that we're almost at the end of stage 2. That means we're getting ready to crown another stage winner. Parham right now content to be nice and patient, but he does have his teammate Redinger right alongside of him here, and it's going to be 5 laps to go in stage 2. Green flag back in the air. It's another good restart for the 24 of Kenneth Redinger, Justin Parham. Meanwhile, fighting out back with the 54 of David Traylor and a couple others. Takes these trucks about quarter to half a lap to get up to speed. But off of turn number 2, it is Kenneth Redinger in the 24 who has the advantage. Looks like this time everybody out back able to keep the trucks in control without hitting anything. And so Kenneth Redinger will work his way off of 4. Still strong with the lead, but Justin Parham was actually able to close it down there pretty significantly. Now, how does Parham set up this move? He's going to have about 3.5 laps to do it here now that he is officially on the back bumper of his teammate. Does he try to put him in an awkward spot? Does he just wait for him to see if he makes a mistake? Or does he try to maybe force the issue? Not going to have to worry about it because the stage is unfortunately going to end right here as caution is back out. Randy Bonomi a little bit slow. Not sure if he was the initial spark of this incident or not. Aiden Lunn looks like he's a bit underpaced right now as well. So going back towards the front of the field. We'll have to go back and see what brings this one out again. I think, was it potentially, we're going to go back here to the only data we're showing, which was, of course, Randy Bonomi slow, and that makes you wonder, was he potentially involved in something? I didn't think it starts with the 66. I think it's going to start ahead of the 66, and yeah, it certainly does. That looks like the 32 machine of Aiden Lund, but Randy Bonomi, slides in. Oh my goodness, heads up move there by Aiden Lund to jump high at the last second. Now he already got damage, but still a nice heads up piece of driving right there. That was really, really close. So let's back this up and watch. So Aiden Lund here, is there some contact or does he just get loose? Again, one of the rookies that's been doing a phenomenal job since the start of the season here, and just, well, you can't really tell from that angle. We're going to have to go to the chopper view here as they were right behind the billboards as the contact first occurred, if there was contact, that is. And so watch closely. Does the 9 get into the 32? I think he does. And if it's not quite contact, boy, it's certainly close enough to call it that. As watch Riley Gomes here. Middle of the corner, and the 9 just gets a little, well, no, the 32 does start creeping down just a little bit, but I mean, again, that's just part of what we talked about earlier with how hard it is to go too wide here. I think even though the 32 maybe is creeping down a little bit, the 9's maybe creeping up a little bit more. And yeah, definitely looks like right there. Back that up one more time. Watch right here. Is there contact? There is. I don't think there is. I think that is another case of netcode. It's been brutal here tonight. And I know some people don't like when we blame it on that, but I mean, that's what it is. If they're not hitting each other, you can't say there's contact. And in this case, there was no contact there. iRacing thought there was, though, and that's what kind of sparked that initial wreck. It was a phenomenal save by the 9 of Riley Gomes, but unfortunately, the process of saving it there, he got back into the rookie Aiden Lund. That sent Lund back into the outside wall pretty hard here. Boom. Good impact with the front end of the race truck. And Bonomi, man, he was definitely sliding in there if Lund didn't get out of the way. That was a good piece of driving, though, by both of those two to manage avoiding making any more contact with each other. Right here, I think the 32, he might have a chance at straightening that out, but once he gets back down into 9, that's just kind of like an assistance and the overcorrection that does send him into the outside wall. So as we go back live, that should officially end your stage with Kenneth Redinger being the Stage 2 winner, Justin Parham second, David Traylor third, Jake Bustos in fourth, and Matthew Fritz currently rounding out your top 5. We'll see if we get the one-to-go signal right here before we go any further. And it looks like we don't. So with that, we are going to take a quick side-by-side break. We will be right back for the start at Stage 3. Stick with us at Darlington.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. 3x3.
Back live at Darlington Raceway. Green flag back in the air. Stage number 3 is underway. And a good restart again from Kenneth Redinger. Shouldn't be surprised, though, with how he's been able to set it up all the way up to this point. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those setups right now where as a driver, you know, in the back of your mind, you don't think that we're going to go on a long run, especially with kind of the caution turn we've had so far. But you got to think about it, right? Because if we do not go into, Jake Bustos goes around. Oh, he saves it at 74. How did he hold on to that one? Well, he got turned. There was no lack of physicality through that one. But I cannot believe Jake Bustos saved that truck. Coming off a 2, not going to matter. Now they are going to wreck officially. This one going to collect quite a few of them here. 3, 4. Mark Beverly, Wesley Phil. Oh, huge hit for Derek Catt and Randy Bonomi. Everybody comes to a stop, and that might have been saving grace there for Jake Bustos to get turned when he did in order to, of course, miss this wreck. But, man, we got a couple things to break down on this one, so let's get right to it. First thing, probably the most impressive thing of it all, was the save by Jake Bustos. This was absolutely incredible. I mean, you just don't do this in a truck. First of all, you don't do this in general in these race trucks. They are way too unstable to be making saves like this. And at a track like Darlington, I mean, I thought without a doubt, as soon as the camera panned to him, we were going to see the front end of that truck ripped off and he was going to be in the inside wall. But watch this. You never give up driving a truck for reasons like this right here. He gets turned around. Look at the front tires. Pointed towards the right. And then as soon as it starts to straighten out, he doesn't overcorrect. In fact, see the wheels slightly point back to the left. Drives out of the slide, drives it back onto the racing surface, and ends up not actually losing that much track position in total here because of the wreck that happens just after this. But watch this from the cockpit view. Watch his hands through this. And this was a little bit too far back. So we're going to go, or excuse me, a little bit too far forward, get a little bit further back. That was in 1 and 2, but the save here was in 3 and 4. Gets on the gas and just gets turned around. man, that's a phenomenal save. And of course, you got to give a little credit to the fact that they're on new tires. A little bit more grip makes it a little easier to save, but by no means is that an easy save to make. And watch the top review here. Clay Cantrell's got a great big run. He's on the outside, no problems. He gets around clean, and then I think as Bustos tries to merge back up here, Chase Greer is kind of going to be there. Actually, that's, again, still in the wrong spot. I apologize. Back this up a little bit further. Right here. So actually, no, Clay Cantrell, nothing to do with it at this point. It was Justin Parham who was on the inside as the 74 was up top. And again, just tight quarters racing. 19 sliding up a little bit, 74 sliding down a little bit. And slight contact right there. And that's what sends Jake Bustos around here. But how he saved this is still beyond me. I mean, that truck is 45 degrees, almost 90 degrees sideways. Just drive out of the slide like nothing happened. And then meanwhile, this was the incident that kind of, I don't know if I would say stemmed from that, but here we go. Mark Beverly looking to the outside of Ryan Gomes off of 2. And oh, does he get some help himself here? Mark Beverly from potentially the 47 of Boutwell? Or was, let's see, this is coming off the turn, and yeah, Sam Boutwell. I know there might have been a little net code, but I'm pretty sure he was going to get into the 97 there. You could kind of tell by the way that truck was drifting up the racing surface. I just don't think he was going to get it turned back down in time. And again, another situation of tight quarters racing. Guys all going for same piece of real estate. And the 47 just got tight and got up into the 97. That turned him around. And then 47 gets back into the 97 here as he's trying to save it. 55, you see him in the outside wall now. Wesley Phillips, he's going to have nowhere to go. And then multiple others are going to pile into this one. Yeah, it certainly did not stop there. You see a couple going to the outside wall. The big hit was out back for Randy Bonomi and Derek Catt, who took a huge shot in this one. There's the contact for Bonomi here as he sees him wreck in, hoping to miss it. Slams head on into the 55. Almost looked like he never really checked up, and then gets slammed in the rear end by the 13 there. Derek Catt. Give you one final angle of it here from TV3 again, which was the first view we saw. Watch some of these slides and some of these hits, some of these spins. There goes the 97 of Beverly. I think he taps the inside wall as Clay Cantrell hits the outside wall pretty hard. So this one collects quite a few trucks, does a lot of damage, and ultimately is going to create quite a few problems for a couple guys here in terms of, you got to wonder how many still have a fast repair left. Looks like Clay Cantrell, who we know was in an earlier wreck that was a pretty hard hit, is now out of the race after that second big impact right there. And we see Ryan Gomes, Nick Wood, multiple laps down in the pits. A couple others no longer the lead lap from Derek Catt on back in 20th. 21st, Wesley Phillips, Randy Bonomi 22nd. Those two also not on the lead lap. So now that'll give us another restart with about 60 laps to go. By the way, I said that the stage break ended kind of when it didn't, because the stage was actually at lap 65. And so with that, that did change some things around a little bit as the green flag is back in the air. But one thing it didn't change was who your stage winner was, we believe. And so we were going back to look at here just real quick. And yeah, Kenneth Redinger indeed had the lead as they had all piled up. So Kenneth Redinger, your stage 2 winner officially as the field right now, working off of turn number 2. 2, almost 3 wide. This one a lot more aggressive than even the last one, which we just had the caution for. Alex Beverly had to check up in the middle of the corner. Brody Benty got tight now. Chase Greer really sliding up the racetrack. Almost cut off the nose of the 22. Haas Beverly, I'm not sure if it was going to cut him a break there. Again, they all still managed to have enough give and take to sort that one out. A couple more guys are going to tag the outside wall through 1 and 2. Up front, battle for the lead, getting ready to be on here as it looks like David Traylor to the inside of Joey Hickox, and he is going to take that position into turn number 3. Talked about different areas of the racetrack where you want to set yourself up to make a pass if you're going to make one, and that was one right there that was beautifully executed by the 54 of David Traylor. Further back, 2 wide, Justin Parham, along with the 7 of Wiley Cantrell into 1. And now looking for a crossover, Zach Stevens, who got to be careful making that move in that spot. Looks like he makes it work, no trouble. Man, these guys are really starting to scare me each lap. The more we see, or the more, each lap that goes by, the more kind of desperate moves we'll see guys try to make. That's just the nature of the beast in terms of everybody trying to get a win. But man, what a night of racing it's been so far. I mean, at this point, you know, you start to look at strategy, and I almost think maybe you start thinking about throwing it out the window. I just don't know if we're going to see it. I mean, 71 laps complete. That puts us exactly 60 laps to go. That's not that long here at a track like Darlington. This thing's going to be over before you know it. In fact, it's probably only about 30 more minutes of racing or so. And so with that in mind, I think if, you know, you're the leader, David Traylor, you just try to stretch this gap out. Don't worry about saving tires yet, unless we start to get to a point where you think we're going to go to a longer run and then maybe back the pace down. But for now, just stretch it out as far as you can, because there's a good chance that we'll get another caution at some point. Meanwhile, Joey Hickok's potentially on the flip end of this is going to wonder if he's trying to save some tire right now, whether he is or isn't. Looks like that truck definitely struggling a little bit right now. He's already lost 2 spots since the restart, but in third overall, up 11 from where he started. Clinton Woodby, who we saw challenging for the lead earlier and running second, now back on his tail. Off of turn number 2, the 19 of Justin Parham, down 6 in total from where he started. He is in 7th at the current moment. And all these guys now finally, it looks like for the first time tonight, are going to start to get kind of stringed out, single filed out, if you will. And you see on the track map what that kind of looks like. Gives us a chance to talk about what the schedule is looking like for the NOMA Truck Series and kind of what points we're looking like coming into tonight and what we can expect going forward. So I think before we get to the schedule, we'll talk a little bit about what points we're looking like. Again, this is individual points. And so as it stands right now, Mark Beverly leads in points. Justin Parham second. Kevin Winker in third. Kenneth Redinger fourth. Jay Stinson 5th, Chase Greer 6th, Bill Hales in 7th, Joey Hickox 8th, Wesley Phillips in 9th, and looks like currently rounding out your top 10 is going to be, I think it's Keith Prince. It's looking earlier, and yeah, it looks like it is indeed Keith Prince. Matthew Fritz is just outside your top 10. As for team points, Asphalt Outlaws Racing currently leads the team championship battle, and just behind them, though, Venom Racing still relatively close in that points mix, only behind by 13 points, and then it's DC Motorsports, followed by Grandstand Racing, and then all the rest of the teams still giving chase as for now. Now looking ahead to the rest of the schedule and what we can expect. Next week is going to be an off week for the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series. So again, we will not be racing next week. We'll be back though May 4th, and we will be at the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway for 80 laps, followed by Kentucky and then Charlotte to round out the regular season. Boy, it's going by quick. And then already we'll be at the All-Star break and then into the playoffs. Nashville Super Speedway kicks us off in the round of 16, followed by Las Vegas Motor Speedway, which will also be in the round of 16. And then after that, we move on to the round of 8, Chicagoland, followed by Kansas. And the championship 4 will yet again this season be at Texas Motor Speedway. Officials there just a week ago. Wonder if there was any guys that were able to get some practice in for that one. But here tonight, boy, the name of the game had been cautions for about the first half of the race, but since then, looks like things, at least so far, maybe finally starting to get cleaned up. Further they get stretched out, the cleaner things will remain, and I don't think that they're good to make it in terms of the entire fuel window. We know they get 75%, but, I mean, they had to go over 60 laps here just about in order to make it the rest of the way, and I just don't know if they quite have that in the tank at 75%, so I think you'll see 1 green flag stop, but I don't think they're going to have to make 2. And then, of course, if we get a caution at any point, that could certainly shake things up here in a pretty big way. Jake Bustos with a close moment there between him and Haas Beverly off of turn number 4. And now Bustos into the outside wall there as he breaks the cushion, and heavy contact with the outside wall. It looks like now he is going to be able to gather it back up as the 8 of Chase Greer will go around. David Traylor still leading the way. The gap between him and Justin Bentley, who sits second, is currently 1.2 seconds. Clinton Woodby in third. Looks like he is just now making his way around the 29 of Matthew Fritz. Darren Nettles says, go Manny Rays 29 for me, go Fritz. So Matthew Fritz right now in the 29 truck, putting a lot of pressure still on the back bumper of Clinton Woodby. I thought Woodby would maybe pull away a little bit here, but not going to be the case. As kind of the same thing for your leader now, David Traylor. Wondered if he'd pull away, but now it seems like Justin Bentley has maybe found a little bit of a rhythm here and is going to start to try to track him down. Matthew Fritz takes that position back away from the 92 of Clinton Woodby. That'll put him back into that final podium position. 81 laps complete. Justin Bentley currently a second behind, keeping an eye here on Kenneth Rediger, Justin Parham. Those two of the fastest trucks on the racetrack all night, looking to get back to the lead from where they stand for now, behind Clinton Woodby, and right now 5th and 6th. So still some ground to make up, but still plenty of time to do it, as still just under now 50 laps to go here at Darlington. With that, we are going to take a quick side-by-side break. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back. Stick with us. David Traylor leads at Darlington.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
3x3.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. While we were on break, you saw it happen live. Caution for an incident involving Derek Catt. Go back and break this one down for you exactly what went wrong, and saw it go wrong over in 3 and 4. And boy, did he get some help. Yes, he did. It sure looked like, at least. So I think this was this, back this up even further. I think this is just kind of an incident here of, again, what we've seen a lot of tonight, and that's two guys fighting kind of for the same piece of real estate. But Keith Prince is going to get a run here, and as they get down the backstretch, he's going to look to the inside of the 13, Derek Catt. And Derek does come off the wall a bit, and as a result, there's a slight bit of right front, left rear net code, and that gets the 13 turned around. I don't think he's going to hit anything, and no, he doesn't. Slides to a halt down below the apron, out of harm's way, but it still does draw the caution. Give you another angle of this one here. In fact, I want to go back again. Watch the 13 here. I said he comes off the wall, and he certainly does just that. And it's not much, but, you know, in Keith Prince's defense here, he's going for a side draft, so he's expecting the 13 to stay pretty glued to the outside wall. And, yeah, it's not much, but Derek Cat is certainly shuffling down just a little bit there. Then I think Keith Prince maybe just a little too close in that case. I know he's trying to get a side draft, but there's already been quite a few issues with netcode tonight. You got to a degree kind of expect that, and right there, that certainly got the 13 on the bad end of it. It's a view from TV3. Nice job, though, by Derek Cat to quickly lock it down so that that truck could come to a stop before it slid back up on the racing surface and potentially caused him any more issues. See, it's gonna. He's probably gonna have to take tires if I had to guess. Probably got those flat spotted, but besides that, I mean, the truck, any damage you see there on the left and right side, he's already had. That's nothing new. So, good news there for Derek Cat at least, but maybe not the best news for everybody is that caution. By the way, not your first caution of the night, but rather your 10th caution of the night. It's been quite a few so far. Here now with 90 laps complete. Going to go back green, it looks like, with, I believe, 91, maybe 92 complete. Yep, 91, as we did get the one to go this time. And it's David Traylor being scored as your leader. Justin Bentley second, Justin Parham third, Kenneth Redinger fourth, and Matthew Fritz rounding out your top five. And Hickok said that was a great save to the 74 earlier. Raymond Daniels said, Nancy, vote for the 29. Nancy says, okay. He is a Venom Racing driver after all. I vote for the number 29. Wasn't the original color for Manny Rays blue and white? See what Manny has to say about that one. By the way, Nancy said earlier best throwback is the number 3, was number 31 back then. I love the scheme. I was mad when he changed his scheme and his number. I remember that. Joey switching from the 31 over to the 3. Nonetheless, I mean, the success has followed, whether it was a number change or not, I'm not sure. But, of course, Joey last season, not only the Truck Series champ for the NOMA Association in general, but also the Super Speedway Series champ, and looking to repeat, hopefully, in both this season, but right now focused on the trucks, of course. Green flag is back in the air. 40 laps to go at Darlington. David Traylor working that truck up the track ever so slightly as it's Justin Bentley in the 16 following in close suit behind. Just the 24 of Kenneth Redinger. This restart a little bit more organized in the sense of a lot more guys were able to get single filed out before they even got to the exit of 2. Still a couple of drag races though here through 3 and 4. One of those between the 22 of Haas Beverly and Jay Stinson. Jay gets loose, out of shape, trying to save it. He does. Boy, Haas Beverly just snuck by before that one got really, really ugly. And a nice job there as you see Wesley Phillips was in the mix. The 9 of Riley Gomes way off pace. Not sure what happened to him. And oh, I saw another one get off further back. Do they save it? That was Jay Stinson again. And so Jay, I'm not sure if he's just still throwing himself out of his rhythm or if he's just having problems with this truck. But that's 2 really close calls here in just the span of a couple laps. Joey Hickok's now behind his teammate. Probably right now saying, Jay, calm down. I'll give you a break here. Just get it together. Meanwhile, the 7 of Wiley Cantrell was taking a look low, nothing doing. He'll fall back a position. And now Joey Hickok's trying to get another run, rotate the truck rather, to the inside. He is going to take a peek here going into 3 and 4, further back than even these two, though. Saw some blocking going on for just a moment between, I believe, was that Randy Bonomi and Sam Boutwell, a couple others. 16 to Justin Bentley in second and 2/10 behind your leader. Redinger getting up to third. He is still about 6/10 of a second behind, though. And so we'll see if he's able to kind of mount a little bit of a run here over the course of the next couple laps. Now, by the way, with that caution coming out and when we went back green, 40 laps, it keeps getting closer and closer on fuel. Again, we know they have 75%, but in terms of the exact number that translates to, that part we're not quite as sure on. One thing, though, that we know is, like I said, it is going to be mighty close. There's not as much off-throttle time at a track like this, even as much as you would maybe think there'd be for what is just over 1.25 miles in length. David Traylor still leading Justin Parham. That gap has not really moved. Down maybe about half a tenth as, Bentley closed it up big time there through 3 and 4. Actually going to look to the inside, nothing doing. Traylor carrying the momentum down the front stretch, top on the roof cam here for Justin Bentley. And watch what he does here. He's going to work all the way up to the wall, stays up there longer, and the reason he does that is so he can get a better run than David Traylor down the back, and it's working right now. It's working big time here. He almost gets to the inside on the entry of 3 and 4, but he just can't quite do it. Traylor runs the top. That's where he's able to carry all the momentum that he gets down the front straightaway. And so if you're Justin Bentley, I mean, I like the approach through 1 and 2. Maybe try to change it up a little bit through 3 and 4, but David Traylor, you see, works a little bit higher up the track. That time he caught what the 16 was doing and trying to take away some of his air there so that he can't run him down, at least not as quick. Meanwhile, Kenneth Redinger's still watching these two go at it from about half a second in total behind. Bentley was able to close it up a little bit more, gets a better exit that time. Still hanging strong as we know what the view looks like from the onboard of the 16, but this is, honestly, as a driver, pretty much what it feels like looking out the rear view mirror. If you're David Traylor, that truck puts so much pressure on you when they're right on your bumper. You're trying everything to not make a mistake. And sometimes when you do a little bit more mirror driving than out of the windshield driving, that's how you can cough up, make a mistake, and let that guy behind you get to you. So I think if you're David Traylor, just keep all eyes forward at this point. If the 16's got to run, let him make the pass himself, but don't give him an easy opportunity to do so. As when we cross the line next time, it'll be 31 laps to go. So again, we're ticking off laps here pretty quick. Not sure if there is going to be another green flag stop, whether there is or isn't. If you're David Traylor, the longer you hold this clean air, the better your chances are going to be, because those tires will continue to fall off. That clean air is going to continue to become more and more important. Raymond Daniels says hit the like button. That's right. Certainly appreciate it. Good to see you out here again tonight, Raymond. I know the NOMA guys appreciate everything you do, and we appreciate you tuning out here tonight. Spending here some time to watch here on Ghost Racing Network. Nancy Hickok says, all right, Venom Racing, time to move to the front. We want to win and as many team points as possible. That's right. Close battle still between Asphalt Outlaws Racing and Venom Racing. And David Traylor for DC Motorsports, we talked about them being in third, so they're not out of it just yet. Justin Bentley for MNT. I'm still shocked, though, that Grandstand Racing is not the leaders in terms of the points battle with, I mean, the amount of wins that, of course, they've accumulated through Kenneth Redinger and Justin Parham already this season. But just the overall speed that they bring to the racetrack each and every week. Tell that Sam Boutwell, the newest addition to the Grandstand Racing team this season, is still trying to catch his footing, but he keeps learning more and more as each race goes on, and certainly has the speed and has had a couple of big chances so far this season. Still looking to see if he can get the job done, though. All right, going to go back and go through the running order of your field. 26, J.R. Schauber, 25th. Ryan Gomes, Clay Cantrell, 24th. Nick Wood in 23rd. And Randy Bonomi, or actually Nick Wood, by the way, is the last truck on track right now. Everybody else either off or out for the race due to damage. Randy Bonomi in 22nd. Derek Catt in the 21st. Riley Gomes in 20th with Sam Boutwell in 19th. Keith Prince in 18th. Riley Cantrell 17th. Wesley Phillips in 16th. Aiden Lunn in 15th. Brody Benty 14th with Joey Hickox in 13th. Chase Stinson 12th. Chase Greer 11th. Zach Stevens in 10th. Matthew Fritz in 9th. Jake Bustos 8th. Haas Beverly in 7th. Justin Parham in 6th. That would be in 5th with Mark Beverly in 4th. Kenneth Redinger 3rd. Justin Bentley 2nd. And David Traylor continuing to lead at Darlington. And the 16 certainly still putting the pressure on, but it just seems like maybe not quite as much as it had been over the last handful of laps or so. And that's where you always start to ask yourself, has he maybe started to use his stuff up, or has he already used his stuff up? Kenneth Redinger, by the way, he is closed in on this gap, looking to take advantage, but caution is out. And trouble there on the front. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. That was Zach Stevens in the 33. Nope. Was it? I can't tell exactly who that was that we just saw go around. Was it Parham? It may have been Parham, but yeah, man, Parham, heavy damage on the left side and the left front. 19, your Atlanta race winner, is all torn up here at Darlington. He does have a fast spare, wasn't involved in anything else yet tonight, so he will be able to go in and get this thing patched up, but again, certainly not the way that he would have liked to see his chances end here. lap 105, as he'll have, of course, a lot of ground that he's got to try to make up now. And it's actually Mark Beverly and Justin Parham, so it was 2 trucks. And I think Mark Beverly is where this one starts at here. We'll go to the chopper view again and watch the 97 right here, top of the racetrack, and just gets a little too hot, and into the outside wall he goes. Backed it up one more time for you here. He gets down into the turn, everything's good here, but then just a little too hot. Gets Darlington stripe, trying to turn off of it. Woodby's low, and then once he finally does turn off of it, a little bit too much wheel, gets down the track. Wow, that was a huge hit for Justin Parham. That truck snapped straight back to the right on contact. Look at this, boom, back into 97. So that's how Mark Beverly ended up turned around on the inside wall. I can't believe that Justin Parham was actually able to drive that truck back to the pits after the hit he took on this inside wall. Give you a couple more angles of it here. Parham just the innocent victim in this case. Nothing he could do but destroying the front end of his Kyle Petty number 19 mellow yellow throwback scheme. Give you one more view of this here from TV1 before we go take one onboard view with Mark Beverly. Again, watch this hit for Parham. I mean, this is about as hard as they come here. And man, just nowhere to run, and that destroys both ends of the front suspension as the front end rips off. The hood somehow stays on, but so the left front fender gone. There's the bumper cover flying around. It's going to pop back on the truck, but damage was still done nonetheless. And give you one final view of this here from Mark Beverly for the onboard view. Go to the roll bar here, and again, it's so tough when you're in the outside wall. You're trying everything just to steer off of it, and you know, you can get into these corners pretty hot. Of course, using brake, getting up the track, but you break that cushion. That's what just happened there, and have an outcome similar to that. So I think if Mark Beverly has a fast repair still, this will be his one and only one gone to the contact there. Good news for Justin Parham fans. Looks like he has been able to use that fast repair, stay on the lead lap, and has got that damage all fixed up. Mark Beverly in the 97 looks like has not used the fast repairs. You still see some damage there on the right rear along the left side, but the front end seems to be, for the most part, cleaned up, so that truck should still have pretty good speed here for these next 24 laps or so. And now one thing that we did just get confirmed with that caution is that everybody is now officially good to go in terms of fuel mileage, at least. Nobody gonna have to worry about being short at this point. Now if we go into overtimes, that could of course change, but as it stands, your leader is Justin Bentley, David Traylor in second, Kenneth Redinger in third, Clinton Woodby fourth, Jake Bustos in fifth, Haas Beverly sixth, Zach Stevens in seventh, Matthew Fritz eighth, Chase Greer ninth, Joey Hickox rounding out your top 10. 24 laps to go, going to be 22 when we grab the restart, at least from what it looks like right now. By the way, quick reminder, next place we head on Ghost Racing Network Monday night over to the Asphalt Outlaws Racing. Excuse me, I apologize. That's where we are tonight. Got things mixed up there as I was trying to make a bit of a transition. So we're going to go over first as we head over, to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series for the Capital Auto Talladega Spring 250. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Green flag at 9 p.m. Part of the Noble 5 Challenge. So that race is going to be going towards whoever has the highest average finish out of 5 selected races over the season will be awarded $50. And saw a great race in Daytona for the season opener. Wasn't there to commentate that one. Bryce had to fill in. That means I am extra excited to see what will be, for me at least, the first, of course, plate race of the season tomorrow night. Or Monday night, I guess I should say. Just about going to be tomorrow night because we're almost now officially into Sunday, about 30 minutes away. At least here on the East Coast. Hope everybody's still having a good Saturday night. We appreciate you tuning in to the NOMA Truck Series here on Ghost Racing Network. And so David Traylor will be on the inside, Justin Bentley on the outside. And I think now this is gloves come off time. I mean, there might be a little bit more saving tire depending on how things cycle out, but this is all about track position from here on out. So there's no more necessarily just letting a guy go on a restart, letting a guy go into a turn. You got to fight for everything you want because it is now or never. Green flag back in the air. 22 laps to go at Darlington. Good restart for Justin Bentley. Did exactly what he needed to do, and that was get away from any of what could be chaos and carnage behind him here. David Trailer, though, with a pretty good run through 1 and 2 himself. Going to try to close that gap further back. Ooh, a couple guys blowing the turn. Oh, Jay Stinson hard into the inside wall. Another truck off. Looks like going to be saved for Randy Bonomi. That was huge damage and a huge shot there for Jay Stinson. He got turned and he saved a couple here tonight, but he did not save this one. Did he get some help or did he hit something on the outside here? He was on the inside and saw Parham get into the outside wall. Jay's starting to wash up and nope, no contact. The 31's just loose, as was the 19, and gets a little too much wheeling to it. Truck goes down. He tries to save it, but just runs out of racetrack to do so. Again, that's a really hard hit into that inside safer barrier as you see Bonomi behind with a similar issue, able to save it. And now Stinson below the apron here. I wonder if he's going to take this thing to pit road and try to get some of that damage fixed up. Looks like he is going to do just that. 20 laps now to go as David Trailer is taking the lead over Justin Bentley. What happened here? This was just as we were taking a look at that incident. It just happened there with Jay Stinson, and this happened in the course of just about a corner or so. Justin Bentley with, well, it didn't happen in a corner, so I take that back, but Justin Bentley made a big mistake here. David Trailer closed up, was putting the pressure on, and I think Justin Bentley may have started to feel the pressure here as just gets it a little too hot through 1 and 2, gets up into that outside wall, and that's what allowed David Trailer to go by. Clinton Woodby's going to get by as well. Jake Bustos has some momentum as he gets around Redinger. He's going to get up there, get in the mix also. And so that's what got Justin Bentley sent as far back as it did, and now that the 16 is buried, I think that might bring his chances of at least getting a win here tonight to an end. So he's just going to try to hold on, I have to assume, for these next 18 laps or so. And now David Trailer, well, I think it's time to talk about it. He probably doesn't want to hear me saying anything, so it seems like it never works out when we do, but 18 laps to go. You know that the possibility of a caution is still very likely. However, if this thing is able to stay green all the rest of the way through, then we might see our first win of the season from David Trailer here tonight. It's been a long time coming. He's shown a lot of speed in the NOMA Truck Series and the Asphalt Outlaw Racing Truck Series. But here tonight, didn't necessarily have speed early, but he kept learning, kept fighting, and he seems to have found it late, found it at the right time, but now he's going to need a little bit of luck, with that luck being no caution from here to the rest of the way, because the next closest man to him is Jake Bustos. Jake right now, though, is 1.7 seconds back, and he is holding off a very feisty Kenneth Redinger. Looks like Jake there with a veteran move as he's going to let the 24 go by. Says, hey, man, you're faster. You've got a better chance to go catch him. Go ahead and take it. I'll drive back to third and try to follow. Not sure if he's going to be able to do that, as Redinger looks like he was putting down a blistering pace as soon as he got by right there. But now we turn our attention to that scoring tower. It sits at about 1.8 seconds for now. The gap, that is, between David Trailer and Kenneth Redinger. Now, Redinger, of course, one of the veterans of the series. He's been around a little bit longer, I believe, at least, than David Trailer. And, of course, we know that he's got multiple championships in the Truck Series. And, of course, got one not last season, but the season just before. So he's looking to see if he can maybe add on another win to what's already been an impressive season so far. And that gap is now down to almost 1.5 seconds. You do the math, 15 laps to go, 1.5 second gap. He needs to close about a tenth each lap on average to get there. However, if he closes a little bit more one lap, a little bit less one lap, that could change that. But 1.5 seconds still is the distance between Kenneth Redinger and David Trailer. Showing you the track map there. David Trailer shouldn't have to worry about running into any lap traffic. See, the closest man in line is currently in 20th position. That's Randy Bonomi. And just in front, actually, we'll go all the way back here and go through the running order of guys that are still on track one more time here. Nick Wood, last man on the track, in 22nd. Wesley Phillips, 21st. There is Randy Bonomi in 20th. Derek Catt, 19th. Sam Boutwell, 18th. Brody Benty in 17th. Mark Beverly in 16th. Wiley Cantrell, 15th. Aiden Lund in 14th. Justin Bentley in 13th, with Riley Gomes in 12th. Chase Greer in 10th. Joey Hickox in 9th. Justin Parham, 8th. Clinton Woodby, 7th. Zach Stevens, 6th. Matthew Fritz in 5th. And this is where we're going to stop for a minute, because this is where the real battle's at. The battle for 4th. Oh, my goodness. Close right there between Fritz and Beverly off of the turn. And Matthew Fritz diving into turn 1, trying to get clear of this 22. Not going to do it, but now Haas Beverly gets into the outside wall. 22 still trying to gather it back up. Looks like he does. Now Zach Stevens, does he look for a move of his own here? He does. Haas Beverly not wanting to give it up, but he's not going to have much of a choice. They both dive it into turn number 3. Zach Stevens now gets alongside. See, oh, there's contact. He's going to turn the 22. Haas Beverly goes around into the inside wall. Caution is out as he slides back on the racetrack. Gets it back rolling. But he is not going to be too happy with that one. We have seen it quite a few times this season. Haas Beverly, a lot of bad luck and a lot of guys maybe bullying him around a little bit more than deserved. And again, nothing intentional there, of course, by Zach Stevens, but in the eyes of Haas Beverly, he got turned. It doesn't matter how it happened. Point is, he did get turned, and that's going to bring what, again, was looking like a good top 5 finish. The 22 to a halt here tonight. As with that damage, he's going to have to go in and make some repairs. All right, let's go back and look at it here. Don't think there's too much to break down on this one. This was coming out of turn number 4. Go to the chopper view first. Now, the question is, did the 22 come down at all, or did the 33 just drift up? See Zach Stevens on the inside, and Haas Beverly's... I think Haas is there. I mean, I'm trying to gauge whether or not he drifts down. I just don't think he does. I mean, at this point, look at his right side tires. They are below that third seam, and their second seam, however you want to call it. And then at this point, they're above it. Yeah, so Haas definitely isn't really coming down. I just think, you know, Stevens, the natural tendency of the truck there is to drift up a little bit. And unless you bail out of the throttle, that's exactly what it's going to do. And he drifted right up into Haas Beverly, who once got turned around, backed in pretty hard into the inside wall. As there was just nothing he was going to be able to do to save this one. There's the heavy contact. Better the back end, though, than the front. We'll say that. And as he slides back on track, was able to get it back rolling. And no further contact from there. We'll give you one more angle here from TV2. Said we'd give you one more view there, but I think I want to get actually even one more than that here with an onboard of Zach Stevens. Exactly what he's fighting here is he's trying not to get into the 22, but the truck's still again sliding up. Oh, he had to make a slight adjustment with the wheel there. I wonder if it got loose. That adjustment is kind of what ultimately did it right there. It's just really unfortunate circumstance. Well, back up front, David Traylor, you knew it wasn't going to be easy. Seems like it never is for the 54, so he's going to have to go through at least one, if not a couple late race restarts, which I have a feeling it's probably going to be a couple here. But 9 to go, going to be 8 when we cross the stripe, probably 7 for the restart. And again, not that long here, but still enough time for a lot of things to happen. Just about 10 miles left at Darlington is what it'll be when we do go back green. The lights are still on, so it's actually going to be 6 laps to go. David Traylor still leads well. You know, we get interviews from a variety of stuff that happens during the race. One of them that we do occasionally, of course, is not quite a post-wreck interview, but something of the sort. And I have a feeling that, again, Haas Beverly not too happy. Let's see what his thoughts were on that last incident that just happened. Hey, Haas, this is Haas up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, good. We saw some contact there off of turn number 4. Looked like a lot of hard racing. Break us down a little bit what it looked like from your point of view.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he's on my inside. I don't know whether he bumped me in or what was going on there. I have no idea.
Looks like...
Just trying to hold my spot, you know what I mean? We got under 10 to go.
Yeah, I was going to say hard racing at that point. You know, it's kind of a lot less give, a lot more take, but looks like you got the truck repaired best you can now that you're back out. What's going to be the game plan here to pick up some spots?
Yeah, I'm just going to go like, you know what.
All right, sounds like
I'm going to give it all it got, man. See if I can get back up in top 10 anyway.
It sounds like a pretty good plan. Well, we appreciate you giving us a couple quick words. We'll let you get ready for the restart. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, buddy.
Haas Beverly, there you go, saying he was just trying to race on the inside, keep his position if he could. Unfortunately, just didn't work out there. Corey, or Lokery, hope I'm saying that right, says, I'm Central Time. Well, touche, I'm Eastern Time. Therefore, it's just about midnight, but nonetheless, having some fun out here as we're getting ready to watch these guys in a sprint to the finish. And Jake Bustos, another driver looking for his first win on the season. It's been a little bit more part-time So, boy, you know, this one would be just as big for him as it would be for a guy like David Traylor. Would be looking for number 2. Fritz looking for his first one as well. A lot of opportunity here. Top 5 all the way through the top 10, as a matter of fact. See a rookie in there as well with Aiden Lunn. Brody Benty. I mean, a lot of names that could certainly change up this playoff picture if they were to find a way to get the win here tonight. But still a lot of work that's going to have to go into what's going to be potentially the final 6 laps here at Darlington. All right, rolling off of turn number 4. Bustos on the inside. Trailer on the outside. Green flag back in the air at Darlington. Good jump for David Traylor. Not quite as big of a jump as we've seen on previous restarts, but it is enough to stay ahead of the 74 and the 92. Oh, wrecking out back. Big shot into the outside wall. I think that was Derek Catt almost upside down for the 13 potentially. Lands back on all 4. And now this will send us officially into an overtime restart. All right, here we go again. Late race restarts. Cautions breed cautions, and everybody, the gloves are off now. Everybody's going for it, and watch right here is the 13 as they get into the corner here. The 33 looks okay there. That's Zach Stevens. Yeah, the 13 just gets into him. And there's not really much more to it. Just getting up the track here, a 2x2. Again, it's already a tough thing to do, and yeah, well, actually, I'll take it back. Derek Catt doesn't actually touch him there. You can see there's some more netcode involved in that one. There's still probably about a foot between these trucks. Now, granted, I think he may have hit him anyway. It was going to be close, but never actually made contact when the 33 got turned around. Saved it, but then the trouble out back as a result of the stack-up starts when the 16 gets into the 19 of Justin Parham. And that sends the 13 here. Derek Catt hard into the outside wall. Wesley Phillips committed to the inside, gets in to the 13, launches him up into the air. And he does just about go over here before landing back on all 4. And then you see everybody else looks like, I think, was able to drive away from this one. Yeah, sure enough, they were. So it's only going to go down as a 1-truck wreck involving Derek Catt. But, boy, a big one at that for Catt. And I don't know if he's got a fast break. You got to hope he does, because if not, this is probably going to end his race. Look at this hit. The truck kind of had ramped up initially, and then when Wesley hit him, kind of finished it off. And wild tumble as he hits the back end and the front end. Never really gets into the barrel rolling stage right there. Go to the cockpit view. Give you one more look here from TV2. And Wesley Phillips, you can tell at this point, I mean, you're just on the gas when you see the caution come out, trying to shoot through. If you see him wrecking low, you're going high. If you see him wrecking high, you're going low. And just committed and didn't work out. Back live, the 13 on the pits. Meanwhile, up front, David Traylor still being scored as your leader. Jake Bustos second. Clinton Woodby third. Matthew Fritz fourth. And Joey Hickox rounding out your top 5. Let's see if we get the one-to-go signal here. We do not. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll go side by side, and we'll be right back for overtime number 1. Stick with us at Darlington.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. lead by 3. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. To the finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Back live at Darlington Raceway, getting ready now for the conclusion and overtime number 1 here at Darlington. Got to make it to the white flag for it to be official. Trailer versus Bustos. Green flag back in the air. Good restart for David Trailer, but this time it's also a good restart for Clinton Woodby. You can tell these guys have had quite a bit of practice by this point. Trailer rolling well, watching out back, wrecking. Caution's going to come right back out. The 33 of Stevens is in it. Looked like he may have clipped Keith Prince as well, but I think Stevens is really the only truck to get involved, as he is going to call it and tows it back to the pits. I think that's going to be potentially his night wrapped up. All right, go back, take a look at this one so we can go and get a couple interviews before we get back going. And watch Stevens here as everybody, it was a little bit of a stack up action on the inside. And then as they get down into the corner, Zach is going to get into the back of Brody Benty just a little bit. He checks up here. But the 63 from that is already on the outside wall. I wonder if Brody Benty didn't have another kind of, we'll call it an issue, if you will, that got him into the outside wall. I mean, you saw the front end of that truck was already heavily damaged, excuse me. And then right there, I think he just gives him a little bit of a lub tap, kind of finishes him off. All right, yep. And sure enough, so when Brody Benty does get up into the outside wall here, the 33 gets into his left rear. That's what sends him down the track into the 7 of Wiley Cantrell. And then everybody going to try to miss him. Bentley with a little bit of damage. 22 tags him, as does the 03 of Keith Prince. Nobody else actually spins out through this one. Everybody else was able to continue forward. There's the view. That damage that the 33 sustained on the right front. And then we'll take one more look here from TV2. All right, so as we go back live now up front, David Trailer, man, you know, he's got to be biting his fingernails right now saying, can we get this thing over with? I mean, I can't imagine what the pressure is. He's led the last, kind of multiple of the last restarts, if you will, and so many chances where it continues to look like he's going to be the man, and then we keep getting these cautions, and each caution that we get, got to think makes him more and more nervous. But this will now put us into our second green-white checkered overtime, either one you want to call it. And so if we get another caution, that'll send us to overtime number 3, which would be our final attempt, of course, at a green-white checkered. 14 cautions in total so far here tonight, but David Trailer this close to capping one off, about 2 laps as a matter of fact. Let's see how the 54 is feeling right now for this next green-white checkered. Hey David, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Austin. What's up?
Well, it seems like every time we see you come this close, they never want to make it easy. And here we are again tonight, already into our second overtime, 2-lap shootout. How you feel about your chances so far at Darlington?
I like Darlington. I'll be honest, I feel like I can get a decent jump here. But you know, I don't remember the last time I won a race, so I'm honestly expecting anything. Being on the front helps. Hopefully I can coordinate something here with a 92, get us a 1-2 here for DC Motorsports. But I really just want to see the checkered flag. This has been the longest 2.5 hours. But I'm pretty confident here. Knock on wood.
Well, you've endured it so far, and 2 laps could decide your first victory here of the season. So we'll let you go and get ready for it. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see if we're talking to you here in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Austin.
All right, there you go. David Trailer, one of the DC Motorsports drivers, says he's going to see if he can orchestrate something potentially with Clinton Woodby in the 92, who, of course, already has a win on the season, but looking for number 2, if he can, of course, get the job done here tonight. On the flip end of that, Matthew Fritz currently sits in 4th. Another driver that's got a good chance at. Let's see how he's feeling here. Matthew Fritz, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, getting ready for what could be the final restart. You're going to be starting back here in row number 2. What's the game plan here if you're trapped kind of far back? It's hard to pass here at Darlington. How do you do it?
Just try to survive. It's been crazy race, too many cautions, but yeah, I'll try to get 3rd place here. Or maybe, hopefully, the 2 leaders can race each other and I can pass them all. But it's hard to pass. But yeah, we'll try our best.
Been doing good so far. The scheme looks good. We'll see if you can get that truck home with at least a top 3 and potentially your first win of the season.
I appreciate it, Austin.
All right, there you go. Matthew Fritz will let him go as he gets ready. And we get ready as well. Again, same rules apply here. Got to make it to the white flag for this race to be official. If they can't, we'll rack them up and try it again. All right. Pace car pulls off. And here we go. David Traylor, Clinton Woodby, DC Motorsports on the front row. Jake Bustos, Matthew Fritz on the second row. 2-lap shootout attempt number 2. Green flag is back in the air. Good restart for David Traylor. He got the jump he was looking for and enough to get clear of his teammate Clinton Woodby. Woodby fading a little bit lower here. The 54 gets that wide arc. That's the kind of arc he needs off of 2. The 92 gets tight further back. Did everybody keep it clean? Looks like so far they did. Ooh, Aiden Lund gets a little bit of contact now in the middle of 3 wide right there. They've got to get this sorted out. Looks like they're going to... Ooh, Redinger's going to go around. This could bring the caution back out, and it does. Caution back out. That means we are going to overtime number 3. And the 16 of Justin Bentley comes to a grinding halt. And nope, going to be able to get it back rolling, actually. But heavy damage to the front end of his Ford F-150. You see the right front fender getting ripped off as well. All right, let's go back and look at it. Looked like it started with contact. I mean, these guys were going at it. I saw 2 3 wide getting into the turn. Not sure how they ended up getting it all sorted out, but whatever the case was, they certainly didn't get it sorted out very efficiently here. So watch Kenneth Redinger. This is where I saw the first contact as... Well, let's go back and back this up all the way, in fact, when they were 3 wide here. Kind of watch it from here. So Aiden Lund stuck in the middle. See Chase Greer on the outside, Redinger on the inside. And Lund actually does a phenomenal job getting clear of all this mess. But then there's a bit of a check up there with Riley Gomes on the inside. Redinger sees that, and Redinger's going to try to jump just a lane higher here to miss it. Chase Greer was there, though, and so as a result, he gets into the 8, gets him into the outside wall, and then that gets him turned around. And once he gets turned, Justin Parham gets into it. Nowhere to go. Brody Benty with some contact. Justin Bentley, he clips Haas Beverly, which ultimately sends him around. So 4 trucks that all are able to stay towards the top of the racetrack. There's another angle of it. It's a couple of big shots. That could take out another truck or 2 here tonight, which we've seen a lot of carnage. Again, I think this might be the most cautions that we've had in a race all season. And to a degree, you kind of expected it coming into Darlington, but the 3rd overtime here certainly is when, as a driver, you start to kind of just tell yourself, man, let's just get this thing wrapped up. And we're about at that point now. And so we'll have to see how it all ultimately ends up. All right, back live, same deal, no change up front. David Traylor leading the way. Clinton Woodby 2nd, Matthew Fritz in 3rd, Jake Bustos 4th, Joey Hickox in 5th, Mark Beverly 6th. Aiden Lund, hats off to the job he's done tonight, even with the damaged truck and all the adversity that he's had to overcome. He currently, again, sits in 7th, up 17 positions from where he started this race. So we'll see if Aiden Lund can hold this thing off. It's going to be a close one. See how it works out. Back up front, David Traylor. We'll see if he takes the inside or the outside. Seems like he's had it coordinated pretty well with Woodby the last couple restarts, but not sure how this one is going to end here. But by the way, again, this will be our last overtime attempt. And so what that means is that, of course, if we get a caution on the first lap, then that will officially do it. We will not try again. The race will end under caution. However, if they can make it to the white flag, then we will finish this race under green. And so as we do get ready to go back green, a couple people in the chat. William Phillips says 2.5 hours. Race started at 10. Math is hard. Well, you know, William, I mean, this guy's been out here for a while. Cut him a little break and, you know, certainly hope that we're not giving Nancy a hard time there, because no point in that. Tell you what, by the time we wrap up the broadcast, it'll certainly probably be pretty close. Started at 10, going to be about 12, a little bit less when the race ends, and then maybe 10 to 15 minutes at most for interviews, if that. So definitely been a longer night nonetheless. I think that's kind of the point that everybody's pointing at here. Longest night of the season, most recorded cautions, but ultimately we still got a winner to crown. We're going to do that right here. Clinton Woodby on the inside and David Traylor on the outside. Again, Traylor has set up every restart so far that he's been in the lead pretty much to perfection. But he's got to hit this one. This is it. I mean, this is all the chips. There's no more, well, we could get another one. It's okay if I mess up. This is it. So if you mess up this one, and it could cost you the race, but that at the same time, that makes you ask the question, well, now, since Clinton Woodby also knows for sure that it's the last one, does that change his approach? And does he maybe get a little bit more aggressive now as well? We are going to find out. Here we go. Pace car pulls off officially for the final time tonight. 200 miles plus a couple handful more. And it all comes down to 2 laps. Green flag back in the air. Final overtime at Darlington. Oh, big stack up on the inside. A lot of checking up. Looks like they all get it sorted out. David Traylor with a phenomenal restart. Jake Bustos, though, was able to get clear of the 92 of Clinton Woodby. That's something that's different than what we had on the last couple restarts. Can the 74 set up the 54 for one move? Everybody off of 2. Do they keep it clean? A couple guys banging off the inside wall, but it looks like so far, so good. Oh, Jake Bustos looking almost gave the 54 a little bit of the chrome horn. David Traylor off of turn 4. Different lines, different runs. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at Darlington. First and second, both looking for their first win in the NOMA Truck Series. David Traylor with a better entry, better center of the corner, and a better exit. Final back straightaway here. Can Jake Bustos find anything through 3 and 4? Doesn't look like it. David Traylor is going to do it. The wait is over. He gets the job done in overtime number 3. First win of the season for David Traylor at Darlington. And he is going to be happy about that one. It took a while, but he finally was able to do it. Jake Bustos brings home second, and Clinton Woodby holds on to third. It was one slip up for Jake Bustos in 1 and 2 on that final lap that cost him. I think he just got too high too early into the corner, had to wait a little bit longer. Traylor hit it perfect. That was all he needed. All right, well, as he comes down to do a little burnout here, let's take a look at your results here on the night. Your winner is David Traylor. Jake Bustos, again, another one of the part-time drivers, finishes second. Clinton Woodby in third. Mark Beverly in fourth. Matthew Fritz finishes in fifth. Riley Gomes sixth. Joey Hickok seventh. Aiden Lund eighth. Wiley Cantrell ninth. And Wesley Phillips rounding out your top 10. Haas Beverly 11th. Justin Parham in 12th. Sam Boutwell 13th with Keith Prince in 14th. Justin Bentley 15th. Chase Greer in 16th. Kenneth Redinger 17th with Randy Bonomi finishing back in 18th. Derek Catt 19th. And Brody Benty rounding out your top 20. Zach Stevens 22nd. Jay Stinson 23rd. Ryan Gomes 24th. Clay Cantrell 25th. J.R. Schomburg rounds out the field tonight. He finishes in 26th. All right, well, as he continues to burn it down, a little bit of a double celebration here with his teammate Clinton Woodby, who, of course, also finished inside the top 10. We are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back at Darlington. All right. And by the way, back live at Darlington, we are going to have the announcement for your official paint contest winner for the throwback paint schemes. But before that, we're going to start with your third place finisher here on the night. Clinton would be in the 92. Clinton, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Will you bring home a podium finish? You see a teammate get the win. Break us down your run here at Darlington and how you're able to hold on through all those overtime restarts.
I don't really know. It's kind of luck, I guess. I guess maybe not. I had a 0x, so all three of us top three had 0x's, so maybe we all got lucky with that, but who knows. I know at one point in time I took 2 tires and gained a few spots just to make up some spots. And then there at the end, I got surprised. There was a few of them that pitted, and I didn't think we had enough laps to gain any positions, or at least enough to get back up to the front. So me and David just decided to stay out and just play the track position game, and it actually worked for us.
It certainly did. Of course, grab that first win just a couple weeks ago. You build off the momentum tonight with another podium finish. We're going to an off week next week. Then after that, just a couple more races before the end of the regular season. And, as a driver, in terms of, you got that win out of the way, but how do you try to set up yourself to build that momentum as we work our way closer to the playoffs?
It's a good way of doing it. P3 at Darlington, especially after starting, I think I started 13th or something. I was just prepared to maybe finish 10th. So top 3 is definitely a good way to keep the momentum going. So maybe just keep going for those top 5s and P1s,
Absolutely. Well, before we let you head out tonight to go celebrate with your teammate, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend, Megan. Wits and Lawn Care, finally got them a podium on board. Winning Bid Lawn Care, Nirvana, all those guys over there. Sonic Graphic Design, you guys for the broadcast. David, Brody, my teammates, helped me out through tonight with strategy a little bit and everything else. I think that's about everybody. I hope it is.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on the third place finish, and we will see you in a couple weeks.
Yep, appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
All right, and now that'll bring us to your second place finisher, Jake Bustos. Jake, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. Well, man, for a part-time schedule, not too shabby here tonight at Darlington. You come out with a throwback paint scheme and a great finish, bringing home second. Came up just short there, though, of a win. What more do you think you needed for the leader there, David Traylor, at the end?
I don't know, brother. Probably just a mistake on David. He ran a clean race, kept his nose clean, and he hit his marks right there at the end. I gave her all I could and got a little tight coming out of 4 on one of the laps, had to lift, and then at that point I was more worried about protecting my second over the third, or over going for the win.
Good run here and a good paint scheme tonight. And, not too many more questions about the race itself. You ran pretty consistent, pretty clean for the most part. But in terms of the paint scheme, definitely one of the cooler looking ones that we saw here tonight. What kind of made you decide to go with that one? We saw the background story of it. Break us down a little bit more of that for us real quick.
So Johnny Eckert, our race control, he's my car owner. And he paints all the cars or trucks for me too. And I just sat down with him, or we were talking on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, brother, I want something obscure from the '90s that people don't think about when they think of paint schemes from the '90s." And he sent me the picture and the write up for the car, and I just died laughing, and I was like, I have to have it now.
Good story and a good way to finish with the paint scheme. So before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to shout out you, brother. Love watching the broadcast. Look forward to going back and seeing it. Joey and Jay and Johnny, all the admins here. Johnny Eckert, car owner, putting a fast piece together for us. Alex Boffley, my crew chief, in the Discord with me, keeping my head on a swivel, especially after I got a little turn there in one of the stages. And then just, the drivers, the ones that we had up front, Clinton and David, it was great, respectful racing at the end. Nobody got into each other. A lot of give and take up there with those two, so I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out here again in a couple weeks.
I appreciate it, brother. Take care.
All right, and now that'll bring us to your race winner. Been a long time in the making, but David Traylor gets the job done. David, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Austin.
Well, the chips finally fall the right way. Nothing managed to steal this one away. The last, 5 restarts it seemed like that we had at the end. You held on through all of them. You've captured your first win. How does it feel?
It's a huge sigh of relief to finally get that monkey off my back. I like you broadcast it. Yeah, I don't know how many times I've been so close. Just one guy just has more speed. One guy just has a bigger fender. Had something here, something there. So it's finally a relief to do it here at Darlington, nonetheless, which is a pretty technical track. But I love the way it drives. It kind of separates the men from the boys here, and it feels really good to finally get a win.
And now that you, of course, got that first win, going to be heading into the off week next week. After that, though, a couple races before the playoffs. Do you think you're going to still be on that heater, and how are you feeling about your chances to go back-to-back?
I feel actually pretty decent. I ran really well at Pocono last year up until a silly little incident with another guy. Kentucky, I feel pretty decent. That's another kind of mile-and-a-half track. And then Charlotte, maybe not so much. It's tight. You get a lot of green flag runs there, so we'll see. But it does feel good to be on top going into the off week.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you head out to celebrate in Victory Lane tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, first off, thanks to my teammates, Brody and Clinton actually got a really good finish this week. We tried to get a 1-2 with me in the 92 there, but just the 74 timed our restart better than we could. So, but thank you to them. They were kind of helping me there. JC Newman's on the truck, even though it is a Bobby Hamilton Square D throwback. Huge supporters over there. They're not on the truck this week, but Mushroom Top T is a good supporter of mine. And then the guys that put this league on, Joey, Jay. I know they had a rough go, but they're a good group of guys putting on this league every night. Obviously, thank you to you. Putting on the best broadcast on iRacing. I went back and watched last night's race today, and I'm gonna go back and watch this one. Finally having a smile on my face, knowing the result. So, thanks to you for that. And then thanks to my dad watching at home and my girlfriend in the living room.
Thank you, of course, for talking to us. Again, congrats on the win. First of many. We will see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Austin.
All right, and before we wrap things up, going to go see if we have official word on your paint winner. So stick with us. We'll be right back in just about 30 seconds. All right. An official All right, and sorry for the delay there. Had a couple quick notes we were trying to figure out. Actually going to bring in one of the league owners, of course, Joey Hickox, in here for a quick moment as he's going to announce the winner, and a couple other quick notes on some of the special schemes that we had primarily for Venom Racing here tonight, including the 3 truck, the 31, and the 29. Joey, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, not the run you had tonight, but still a special night. Or not the run you wanted tonight, but still a special night nonetheless with all the paint schemes. And sounds like we've got an official winner.
We do. It's Keith Prince in the 03. It's a big fan of that paint scheme myself. I'm a big Earnhardt fan, so love seeing that truck out there. I never thought about doing the Wheaties car before. That was a good idea. I like the truck. It was a good looking one.
Certainly was. And on top of that, of course, talked about we had a couple of special trucks out here tonight. Of course, primarily, at least, if you will, Venom Racing representing some of the throwback virtues, if you will, to the NOMA League itself. And something special with your truck, Jay's truck, and Matthew Fritz's trucks. You want to talk a little bit about that with us for a minute?
Yeah, so originally when we first started our leagues, we had Ag Solar Solutions as our primary sponsor, and then Spray Easy come on to help us out too. And then of course, Manny Rays has taken over, and we wouldn't be here at all without those three companies. So it was something that we all got together and decided to do, as a little throwback to those guys. So just want to thank everything that Ag Solar, Spray Easy, and Manny Rays has done for us. I run my original my original Ag Solar truck. Jason had the original Spray Easy truck, and Matthew Fritz run his original Manny Rays truck tonight. So just want to thank those guys. Without them, we wouldn't be here tonight. So big shout out to them. Thanks everybody for watching. Austin, appreciate everything you do. And maybe we'll get these cautions cleaned up a little bit and have a little bit more green flag racing here in the future for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for giving us a little insight on that. Of course, announcing the winner. That is going to do it for tonight's coverage here at Darlington. What a fun race. What a great win for David Traylor. We will be back, not next week, but the week after that at the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway. Make sure you don't miss out. Until then, though, that'll do it for me, Austin Green, here on Ghost Racing Network. Again, thank you all so much for coming out. As always, I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, have a good night.